day 1093 of the Trump administration, which means we are now 293 days away from the 2020 presidential election. Tonight, we are just over 72 hours away from the opening arguments in the Senate impeachment trial. And another new trove of evidence has been released by House Democrats, courtesy of Lev Parnas, the indicted Rudy Giuliani associate who spoke to Rachel Maddow for a two-part interview here this week. Before we bring in our first guest to talk about this day, once again tonight, we have asked our own national political reporter, Josh Lederman, to dive into this new Lev Parnas evidence and tell us what the headlines are from tonight. And Josh, I heard you a little bit earlier on this network. It seems like it's yet another mountain of material to go through.
A lot of new documents that we've been digging through in the last couple hours since this unexpectedly was posted onto the internet by House Democrats. One new piece of information that is taking a lot of people by surprise, Brian, is a photograph that was turned over by Parnas that shows basically it's a photo of an event, and you can see the name placards at the table. And you see right there President Donald Trump seated, at least according to these placards, next to Lev Parnas at the same table with Brian Ballard, who's a lobbyist who's also come into this story. And this is really undercutting the president's continual claims that he doesn't know Parnas, maybe only had met him briefly. At least judging based on this photo, it seems like they sat next to each other at least one event. The other big piece of information that's coming out today, Brian, has to do with that story we've been talking about Robert Hyde, who apparently had some type of a surveillance operation on Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch. And I want to walk you through the reporting we've done on this because it's been quite a roller coaster throughout the day. So first, earlier today, Robert Hyde on Twitter named a new person that he said actually had provided to him the information about Yovanovitch that he'd then passed on to Lev Parnas, a guy named Anthony DeCallaway. So we said, all right, who is this Anthony Callaway guy? The Robert Hyde told me in a text message that this was someone he'd met at a Trump fundraiser, didn't know really who he was, but hung around Trump events. So we went onto his Facebook and we found all kinds of pro-Trump photographs, slogans, Make America Great Again type of stuff, showing that he's someone whose identity was really wrapped around his support for Trump. But then I got a hold of Anthony DeCallaway via email, and he denied this. He said, yeah, I was in touch with Hyde. He asked me for information on Yovanovitch, but I told him, no, that would be illegal. I'm not going to have anything to do with this. Then comes the document dump from House Democrats just a few hours ago, in which there are all of these WhatsApp messages that show, indeed, Robert Hyde did get this information from some unknown Belgian phone number that the House Democrats in their document dump didn't identify. But we were able to do some digging, and we found that, well, first of all, we spoke to one of his friends who confirmed that Anthony DeCallaway is Belgian, spends a lot of time in Belgium, so that explained the phone number. And then we were able to match a photograph from his Facebook page to the icon used in his WhatsApp text messages. It's the same photo from that unnamed Belgian phone number that the House Democrats had in their messages they turned over. And the nail in the coffin, Brian, was that we found another profile online for Anthony DeCallaway. And at the bottom, there's a phone number, a Belgian phone number, and the digits in the phone number exactly match the unredacted digits that were in the phone number of these text messages that showed up in the House Democrats' documents turned over by Parnas. So long and the short of it, Brian, is that even though some people have been saying that this Robert Hyde guy might have just been making all this up, didn't really have surveillance, there seems to be a lot more in the story, including a new character who was purporting to have surveillance on Marie Yovanovitch.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.